Alright, this is what I came up with here. Now this, I think the idea was in the tutorial was just to use a regular colored pencil, black, and go over it. I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to stick to the watercolor black, just because I want to see. I mean, I got a little bit of that up here at the top of the sky. But I'm just gonna do it and see if it drowns out some of that orange in the background. And I went ahead and put some water there, and I'll put some water on top of that, smooth it all out. I'll let it dry, see how it looks, and I guess I could always go over it with a regular color pencil afterwards, you know, once it dries up, but we'll see. Again, this is like my first experiment with colored pencils, so I kind of want to see how, you know, it goes. I'm not looking to do a perfect kind of piece. I just want to see how this really goes. I could have even put I could have put Batman up there with his cape flying around if I wanted to, but yeah, let's see how this goes here. So let me get my watercolor palette out. Ooh. And I got plenty of water in the tray still, as you can see there. And let's see how this turns out. Okay, I'm getting more of a sharper line, which is nice. Just got to be careful with that. This is a thin watercolor brush. I probably wanted to go with something thicker, but we'll see how this goes. Oh yeah, you get a real sharp watercolor line there. Again, it's good to experiment with things, but the thing is that you have to practice a lot. You should paint a lot, you know, if you expect to get better at these kind of things. I don't paint nearly as often as I used to when I was going to school. So this is good to get me back into it. As you can see, there's still a lot of that yellow. So yeah, I might have to use an actual colored pencil, black colored pencil, to go over this this black. So you can see how it's getting all smudged up. A lot more of the yellow orange is kind of coming through. Alright, well, I'll go through and I'll see if I can find, once this dries, an actual black colored pencil. I'll go over the orange and the yellow. This water, though, I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna smooth out this water. It's kind of like a green effect because of the orange and the yellow there. That's okay, it can reflect a little bit of the sky. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll hunt down a black color pencil, let this dry, hunt down a black color pencil, and I'll go over the blacks one more time, and I think that'll be it. And a neat little experiment. Yeah. Alright. This is how it came out, the watercolor. As you can see, there's some... I mean, I could leave it like this, but I don't know if I like it with these big yellow strips going down it. So I'm deciding, and this is an option, to use acrylic paints. And just to make things darker, make it stand out a bit more. Again, it's not a right or wrong thing. It's just kind of how I feel about this painting. So let me do that. I tested it out, how the black would take to the paper right here. Usually I use a paper towel, but since this page is kind of warped up, I can get away with it a little bit. So dab right here, put a little bit of water on, just a little bit. And this is already kind of dried to an edge, so I can kind of... Well, I kind of already went over a little bit, so I'm going to have to expand on that. But you could see, for the most part, it's darker. Okay, it stays a lot more. I gotta make this match. But I get that good straight line. And I probably don't... Gotta be careful about how much water you put on it, because again, I don't want to have the same watercolor effect that the watercolor pencils did. Again, I could put windows on it, but that would, I don't know, I'm not going for that kind of realism. I'm going for a more abstracted, expressive kind of, you get the idea, kind of painting. Just, you know, kind of to get used to doing this kind of painting. Other options you can use marker, like a black marker for this much black. You know, if you feel okay with it, you go with a Sharpie. But I wanted to kind of keep the natural paintiness, strokeness to it. So I decided to go with this acrylic paint. And I think it's working out nicely. If I wanted to, I can keep kind of the edge lit slightly orange. Just as the effects of the sun. In fact, I might do that. Just to give it a little bit of depth to the light in the building. And adds a smidge of realism. And I mean, this didn't really take me too long. I broke this up into several nights, but each time it didn't really take me more than an hour. Probably about a half hour just to do this background stuff. And again, I got limited space, as I do with most of my videos. My other channels do. And so I make best with this little space I have. I make do, I mean. I really don't want to tempt fate too hard on this edge, you know. And there's going to be some slight mistakes, and I could do something like that there. But you got to know when to let it go. Kind of like axe throwing, you have to know when to let it go. See, I'm already kind of possibly ruining it a bit here. So I'm going to let it go, not about right there. Because you can just keep doing it and doing it forever until you kind of ruin it a bit. I'm going to keep some mistakes in there. But again, I like some of the orangeness on the side of the buildings there. Again, it adds a little bit of depth. And the orange on the waves, and the yellow orange on the waves is cool. I'm keeping some of the aspect, the kind of the rawness of that colored pencil. Yeah. And then I'll go in, once this dries, I'll go in, I'll take the masking tape off. Then I'll see if I can, in white, sign my initials right here. And I'll have a finished watercolor pencil and acrylic painting. So yeah, I'm looking at doing some more painted cartooning. So yeah, let's see how this comes together. Alright, so this is how it came out. I think it came out pretty well. All things considered, I think it looks better, it pops more. And I'm going to put my name, or my initials, in white. And the year. Well, never a bad thing to keep it wet so it can stay sharp. Look at this, you lucky people get to see a masterpiece being signed. That should work. So let's take the masking tape off. See how this turned out. Again, the painting is like never over. You can always add to it, especially if you're oil painting, which I haven't done an oil painting in quite some time. I don't think I have any oils, at least Not in the studio. It might be in storage, but yeah. Whew, this is really coming off slowly. I don't want to rip the paper. It's a good strong paper though, this media paper. It's really good. Again, you can do drawing, sketching, almost any kind of paints you can imagine. And it doesn't really, it doesn't show through to the other side. It's a good thick paper. So I try to use it for paintings when I can. Well, this is going to take a little bit, so let me just skip to it. So there we go. Took the masking tape off, and you can see it's a nice, very straight edge, and creates a nice white border for it. Oh, this part of the page is a little sticky right here, but I like how it turned out. You know, and it didn't take me very long. You know, spread out over several days, probably four days, but not. I didn't only spent like, I don't know, half hour each time. So again, just little pushes, a little bit more each time you work on it, unless you want to knock the whole thing out in one night. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I'm going to have an interesting project coming up. I'm going to get back to cartooning and maybe a little bit of a animation. Remember, 10 seconds a day. That's all it takes.